Sir, this is disturbing the entire cabin. People in first class didn't spend thousands of dollars to listen to your baby scream. Do something about it. The aisle smelled like lemon disinfectant baked into old plastic. Overhead bins shut with hollow thuds. Row 28 shook with the bass note of engines and the static of tired people pretending patience. Ethan Carter, 35, unshaven, eyes ringed with the gray of too many rehearsals and too little sleep, held his 2-year-old son Ben across his lap like a small, furious storm. Ben's face blotched red, his breath coming in jagged saws. The scream that started at taxi had crested on the climb and now ricocheted down the narrow tube of the aircraft. Ethan kissed damp hair, whispering the nonsense mixture of apology and prayer parents invent mid-crisis. Easy, buddy. I know. Your ears, the popping hurts. We're okay. The seatbelt sign glowed firm and orange. A man across the aisle pinched the bridge of his nose, tugged his noise-canceling headphones tight, as if he could screw them into skull. A woman in 27C turned and stared, then turned again, each glance sharpening like she was honing a blade. Somewhere ahead, a cork popped, soft, celebratory, followed by a thin ripple of laughter. First class. A world with thicker glass and more forgiveness. Dada. Ben sobbed, hiccuping a syllable that sounded like both accusation and plea. He arched his back and swatted at Ethan's jaw. Ethan shifted him upright and hummed the only tune that had outlasted the hospital. The gentle, wordless line he'd hummed in a delivery room while Lauren squeezed his fingers blue. He tasted baby shampoo, salt, and panic. A shadow fell across them. The flight attendant had the crisp polish of a hotel lobby, blonde hair in a strict bun, smile like a laminated sign. Her badge, Kate. She crouched, but not enough to share their altitude. Hi there. Bright, too bright. We can hear your little one up front. Even in first. Her tone slipped a layer, still smiling. We do need you to get him settled. It's disturbing our premium guests. I'm trying, Ethan said, the phrase a deflated balloon. He's overtired. If I could just stand and... Right? She said, cutting the word into shape. We just have to balance everyone's experience. Not everyone paid the same for this flight. The smile widened while her eyes cooled. Perhaps find a way to soothe him. She gave the seat back 2 gentle, scolding taps, then pivoted, her service heels ticking away like a small clock. A man behind Ethan's stage whispered, "Finally," and another answered with a chuckle sharpened by relief. The plane was a neighborhood. Grievances traveled faster than carts. Ben coughed on a scream, then rebuilt it and launched again. Ethan wanted to disappear into the window, to become condensation. He pressed his cheek to his kid's temple. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Not just to strangers. To Lauren. To himself, for being both father and founder and feeling incompetent at both in this exact moment. He closed his eyes around the sound and held on. Hey, little man. The second flight attendant appeared like a warm lamp switched on in a cold room. Dark curls tucked under a navy cap, skin the color of cinnamon, eyes with soft corners. Her badge read Imani. She kneeled until her face matched Ben's, the cabin's artificial breeze riffing her lashes. That altitude monster is biting your ear, huh? She asked him. He thinks he's big because he lives up where the clouds do. Ben hiccuped again, the sound expanding into silence as curiosity nudged misery aside. He blinked, what eyelashes like beads of glass. I have a plan, Imani confided. She rolled her thumbs in a magician's slow circle. But don't tell the FAA. From behind her knuckles she produced, Tata, a paper cup. Then another. Then a third. She stacked them like hats, wobbled them, let one fall with great drama. Ben's mouth softened from thunderhead to uncertain line. Imani put a napkin over a cup and tapped it with a plastic stir stick. Abracino more cry. She lifted the cup. A sticker smiled up at them. A cartoon jet with googly eyes. What? She gasped as if the plane itself had done a trick. She stuck the sticker to Ben's sleeve. He pet it with a damp finger. To help your ears, she told Ethan in a voice meant for only him. Sip and swallow. She passed him a sealed water and a straw with a bendy neck. And hold him like this. Her hands showed him the angle, nurse precise. Ben sucked. Once, twice, made a face, swallowed, blinked. The scream shrank into a bleat, then into tiny, offended mews. The aisle exhaled as if a valve had released. Even 27 CS shoulders lowered. Ethan's did too, so fast he trembled. Thank you, he said, meaning thank you for seeing us as human, for not turning kindness into a performance. Imani shrugged. I like kids, she said. And I like people who are trying. She glanced down the aisle. Traveling alone? My wife. The word caught like a button on splintered wood. He corrected. Lauren passed last year. It's just us. He brushed Ben's hair back. The gesture arrived before thought, muscle memory of love. Imani's face changed the way a sky does before rain, steadier, dimmer, real. I'm sorry, she said. That's a heavy carry-on. It landed like understanding, not pity. Want me to take a lap with him? I know 3 more illegal magic tricks. Ethan hesitated, then nodded. Handing Ben over felt like removing a rib and trusting a stranger to hold it. Ben studied Imani's face, the way you evaluate a new law of the universe. She crossed her eyes, and he let himself be lifted. Imani swayed with the plane's rhythm, humming a low thread of sound that lived under the engine drone. Ben's fists opened. His head drifted onto her shoulder. Sleep, quick and sudden, like a truce. Ethan looked at his empty hands and found them shaking. He pressed them to his thighs until they remembered stillness. Kate returned as the cabin settled into that strained, quiet flight's call, cruising. She glanced over Imani's shoulder at the sleeping child, then at Ethan, and pasted on relief. All set. All set, Imani said, lowering into the forward jump seat, but keeping Ben stretched along her forearms like an exclamation point resting. Letting Dad breathe a second. Kate's smile tightened, threatening to crack. Just be mindful. Liability. Got it, Imani said. She didn't put Ben down. Ethan leaned into the aisle, voice low. How'd you learn all that? My aunt fostered babies who were born in withdrawal, Imani said, words soft so as not to wake Ben. You learn tricks. Mostly you learn patience. She glanced at the boy. He's beautiful. Like his mom, Ethan said, surprising himself. I'm on my way to pitch something we built in hospice, care thread, shared care timelines. It's not disruption. It's a label that actually sticks to a chart. Imani smiled with her eyes. Sexy is overrated. Functional saves lives. He blew out a breath that sounded a little like a laugh, a little like a sob. I haven't slept. If I nail this, we get a runway. If I blow it, I have debt and a toddler. You have a toddler regardless, she said. Bad minutes don't define the day. He looked at his scraped knuckles. No memory of which box, which stroller latch, which door did it. Grief blurred edges. Her anniversary is soon, he said. I don't know what to do with dates anymore. Let them pass, Imani said. And do one kind thing that day because she existed. He nodded. That I can do. He could feel the promise settle in his chest like a steadying hand. Light chop rattled overhead bins. The seatbelt sign dinged. The sound felt accusatory. Imani returned Ben to Ethan with the practiced smoothness of someone who had spent years handing fragile things back to anxious owners. Ben grumbled, stood in sleep, then sank into a deeper, quieter version of it. Imani tucked an airline blanket over his knees and touched Ethan's shoulder. Brief, professional, precise reassurance. Kate came by with her tray of performative smiles. She lavished a row of suits with apologies for earlier disturbances. By row 28, her tone had thinned to customer service chalk. Better, she said to Ethan. Thanks for your cooperation. Ethan inhaled, exhaled. He saw the words he could throw, about who counts and who counts money, but swallowed them. He had a finite budget. Keep Ben calm, keep himself functional, land without hating everyone on board. Imani caught his eye from the jump seat and mimed a breath in, a breath out. He matched her. The wheels thumped the runway. The cabin applauded with that faintly sarcastic rhythm particular to domestic flights. Ben startled, then pressed his forehead to Ethan's chest. We did it, Ethan whispered into the boy's hair. Battle won. Deplaning was the ritual of people forgetting physics. Everyone stood at once, creating a clot that took minutes to dissolve. Ethan waited, unwilling to jostle Ben awake. Imani threaded the stream like someone who knew how to move through resistance, sideways, with timing. She slipped a folded napkin into the diaper bag. For the next altitude monster, she said. Inside, a bendy straw, 2 stickers, and a cartoon airplane she had drawn with a felt tip during taxi. On the back of the napkin, a name, Imani, and a number. In case you ever need a trick via text. Ethan's throat tightened. "Thank you," he said, and the words felt rightly small for what he meant. "Really? Go get your yes," she said. Pride flickered in her voice like a pilot light. At the galley, Kate threw, "Thanks for flying," into the stream like confetti. When Ethan passed, she managed a nod that was 1 part apology, 2 parts awkward, and 5 parts brand compliance. At the top of the jet bridge, he turned back. Imani had her cap in one hand, checking latches with the other. She looked up, found him, and lifted 2 fingers in a wave. He answered with a nod that meant, "If I do this, if it works, I will not forget what you did in row 28. The conference center smelled like ambition and carpet glue. A forest of banners chirped taglines in the bright grammar of VC optimism: reinvent, reimagine, reinvent the reimagination. Ethan's thrift store blazer sat right on his shoulders thanks to a tailor who'd been bragging about Bono for 20 years. He checked his deck, then checked his pulse. Childcare had sent a text. Ben had bonded with a woman named Priya, who greeted kids like colleagues, and had a sticker system that could have organized NATO. Ethan signed an extra form he didn't read, scrawled his number twice like redundancy could conjure safety, kissed Ben's hair, and jogged back under fluorescent suns. On stage, founders advanced in 10-minute stacks, a VR golf swing for remote executives, a coinless coin with new adjectives, a marketplace for something that shouldn't be a marketplace. Ethan stood in the wings and pictured Lauren at their old kitchen table, scarf over a beanie, grading his slide drafts with a red pen. No apology slides. No hockey sticks. One story: the nurse with the clipboards. Next up, Ethan Carter, Care Thread, the MC said, voice half caffeinated, half tired. He walked into the lights. He did not say innovation or disruption. He said, "Last winter on the night shift, I watched a hospice nurse carry 3 clipboards because the charts were wrong. She corrected a dose because she remembered a text exchange from 2 days prior that never made it into the EMR. She saved a family from a panic spiral we all know too well." He clicked. The screen showed a simple, boring interface, the compliment he wanted. We put that memory where everyone can see it. A single shared timeline. One nudge at the right time. Fewer "did you see my message?" moments. Less apologizing for the system to people who are already losing someone. He showed the pilot letters. He showed a not crazy budget. He said morphine and dignity and coordination as if they were normal words because they were. He ended with Lauren. She said, "Make it simple. Make it kind. So that's our roadmap. Simpler this quarter. Kinder every quarter." Silence, the good kind. Then a cough. Then that shift in a room when people stop judging and start picturing it working. A man in the front row, gray at the temples, watched that screamed decision, leaned forward. "What's your ask?" $2 million at a $10 million cap. Ethan said, "Even. 18 months runway. 2 pilots queued. We will not hire fast. We will hire right. Come see me after," the man said. He didn't smile. He didn't need to. The glass meeting box pretended to be a room. Its transparency meant to signal honesty. The investor, Sanjay Kapoor, signaled it himself by listening more than he talked. He asked about HIPAA like he meant it, about who owned the data like he'd learned from mistakes that cost more than money, about churn as if he'd once held a bedside hand. Ethan answered without reaching for bigger adjectives. He told the truth the way exhausted people often do, quickly, cleanly. He said what he didn't know yet. He asked for intros to nurse managers, not celebrities. "We'll lead," Kapoor said at last. 1-8 now. Path to 2-5 on milestones. "Board seat for me. Control remains yours." He extended a hand that had shaken too many hands to be impressed by hands, but still believed in the ritual. Ethan shook it. Paperwork rustled, a sound like fabric promises. Outside the glass, founders paced their small circles. Inside, Ethan's shoulders dropped a full inch. He texted his co-founders, a nurse named Raina and a data analyst named Joel, photos of the signed term sheet. Raina replied with a single word, "Finally." Joel sent celebratory emojis that looked like fireworks trying to be hugs. He checked the clock, felt time reassert itself, and realized he had an hour to make a new thing happen. Gratitude, delivered. At information, a woman with the patience of a saint behind plexiglass said, "Crew rosters are not public." A gate agent with kind eyebrows typed fast enough to set off smoke alarms. "Your flight? They're on a turn. Same gate in 40. If you wait, maybe." He waited. Ben snored on his lap. Sticker airplanes softened to velvet by small hands. Ethan rehearsed, not the pitch, but the thank you. How do you tell a stranger she saved you from becoming your worst fear version of yourself? The crew emerged like a small procession. Kate led, makeup unblinking, phone already up. For a second her expression melted into something almost human when she recognized him. Everything work out? She asked. It wasn't snide. It also wasn't warm. It did, he said. He held her gaze just long enough to register effort. Thank you for letting your colleague help. Kate blinked, then inclined her head toward the jet bridge. Imani's behind me. Imani stepped out with her cap under one arm, coffee in the other. She scanned the waiting area, found Ethan, found Ben, and smiled like a person greeting a friend she actually liked. How'd it go? I asked for 2, he said. We closed 1-8 with a path to 2-5. His voice shook on the number. He didn't care. I wanted to say thank you properly. Imani lowered her coffee. That's big, she said. I'm proud of you. It landed in his chest like a steady heartbeat. He had no earthly claim to her pride, and yet. Can I take you to dinner? He asked. To say thanks. Or coffee. Or whatever reads least creepy in airport language. One condition, she said, eyes dancing. You bring the museum. She pointed at Ben's sleeve. Stickers. Curated collection. We'll prepare an exhibit. They chose a diner with a laminated menu, a chipped counter, and a waitress who called everyone Han with impartial tenderness. Imani ordered pancakes at 8 p.m. because flight schedules ruin linear time. Ethan ordered a burger he forgot to taste. Ben ordered chaos and syrup. They traded ordinary history. Imani's mom texted at every landing, a ritual neither of them believed in and both required. Her dad exited conversations the way some pilots exited runways. Too fast, wrong angle. She loved her crew like cousins, sometimes like siblings, occasionally like paper cuts. She wanted to save for nursing school, but didn't say it like a dream. She said it like a sequence of shifts and scholarships and stairs she'd already counted. Ethan told her about the demo that crashed in a hotel 2 months ago and how he printed screenshots because humiliation is a good teacher. He told her Lauren's jokes about his cute code, the way grief turns calendars into landmines, how Ben sometimes looked at the door like he knew it used to open to someone else. Imani didn't ask to see a photo of Lauren immediately. The pause was its own kindness. When she did, she looked like she was looking at a person, not a ghost. She had excellent eyebrows, Imani said, and Ethan laughed so suddenly he startled the fork out of Ben's hand. When Ben got heavy-eyed, Imani rocked him in the aisle without a speech. The waitress refilled waters without asking. Rain stitched the window in thin diagonal lines. The world did its same old world routine. Inside the diner, 3 people made a tiny, defiant, better one. At the curb after, Imani zipped her jacket and stood close enough to feel like an answer, not an intrusion. I'm on Detroit turn tomorrow, she said. Then 2 days off. I'm back by Wednesday, he said. Pilot kickoff. But can I see you? Text me, she said, tapping the napkin with her number. I like parks with swings. And men who try even when they're tired. She kissed Ben's forehead, a quick benediction. She folded Ethan into a sideways hug that told the truth without pretending to tell all of it. The pilot program began on a Tuesday with suspicious nurses and humming fluorescents. Ethan didn't sell. He listened. He asked what would make a night easier, not what would make a slide prettier. By Thursday, someone said, huh, in a way that meant permission to stay. By the next week, a family used CareThread to avoid the classic 3 a.m. panic. Raina texted him a screenshot of a nurse's note. This helped. Ethan saved it like scripture. At home, he put a desk by the window. Ben joined Stan UPS as chief chaos officer, stacking blocks on the keyboard until the team gave up and clapped for him. After work, they walked to the swings that squeaked like small violins. Ethan pushed with one hand and texted Imani with the other. Spaghetti catastrophe photos, a triumph where Ben said, please, unprompted, a meme about turbulence. Imani sent sunrise pictures from Gate A12S in random cities, selfies with paper crowns gifted by small queens in row 17, a shot of her feet in compression socks with the caption, glamour. On Fridays and occasional Wednesdays they met. Museums, the park, groceries, sometimes nothing beyond the living room rug and a cartoon that allowed grown-up conversation to breathe. They did not try to replace anyone. They learned the map of each other's grief and ambition, the way some roads had falling rock signs and others were closed at night. When Ethan woke at 2 a.m. to Ben coughing, he rubbed small circles and hummed the knot melody Imani hummed in row 28. Ben settled. The apartment's quiet argued with the city's noise. Ethan stood in it, feeling the life he hadn't planned line up with the one he wanted. Months later, at an investor update, Ethan wrote without ornament, "We grew slowly and right. Nurses say it helps. Families say it helps. That's the metric." He hit send, looked out at a sky busy with aluminum birds, and texted Imani. "Altitude monster asleep. Pancakes tomorrow." Her dots appeared, vanished, returned. "Always," she wrote. "I'll bring stickers." Ethan put his phone down and watched a plane move across the window, small and sure. People on it would be mean and kind in uneven ratios. Some would wear headphones like armor. Some would hold screaming children and feel very alone until they weren't. He couldn't fix all of that. He could build one thing that made a night easier. He could show up. He could keep choosing gentle when it was harder and braver than sharp. He turned out the light, left the window open to the distant white noise of engines, and let the new air in.